Because I'm trying to find the request that Dylan sent. Bro, what? How do I do this? Okay. It says anybody with the link can view. Let me try and send it again. Oh, this is a different link. My bad. I didn't share the link. I just copied the one I was looking at. Wow.
Hey, how you going?
What the fuck?
I closed this.
How are you?
He's in Australia.
Sorry,
So I had to make it work.
Is right now a good time?
He's in Australia. He's not at fucking home. He's walking around in a fucking yellow vest.
Okay, and I closed it. Look, bro, sometimes you got to do some unethical shit. All right.
But this is the dude that also had buyer's remorse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the call is good. The sales call itself is good. That's why I sent this one.
You're like, I closed it.
It's still a close. We ran into some issues, but it's still a close. A close, a close.
I'm like struggling right now.
Just don't watch the last like 5 minutes because I'm trying to rush him through the buy now, pay later to get it all pissed.
Okay.
What were you trying to do?
Shouldn't take too long. Should only take
The last
about
5, I was
30 minutes.
trying to run him through the buy now, pay laters the
Am
last
I
few minutes
screen sharing?
because
I
yeah,
meant
you are.
Dylan, yeah.
Okay.
Why aren't you making it bigger?
Here, hold on. I thought you had. I thought you were off.
Yeah, so I was off yesterday.
Oh, so I did get the booking wrong.
Yeah, so it was a bit tricky because yesterday. So right now it's 12:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And I finished 12 p.m. yesterday. Sorry, man, my screen's gone blank, so I'll just talk to you, but my camera's not working.
No, you're good. You're good. I see you just fine. Can you? You said you couldn't see me.
Yeah, but that's all right. I can hear you, so I guess that's the main part.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, man. Well, it's great to connect. I'm Mars, right? The call's going to be pretty simple. We're basically just going to have a normal conversation. I'm going to get to see where you're at right now. I need to understand what you already tried and where you actually want to go. And then from there, if I genuinely think that I can help you out, then I'm going to walk you through exactly what working together inside of Team Mars is going to look like. And then we'll move forward. And if everything looks good, we'll start today. How does that sound?
Amazing. Sounds good.
All right. So, Sean, if you're listening, so what he did is he just pre-framed, told him what the call is going to look like, and then got the timing tied down. And if everything aligns, then we'll go ahead and get started today. Cool? Yep. All right. Now we're in the discovery phase.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Okay, so first things first, right? I've got a little bit of info from you from our conversation and from the Calendly link, but I want to know what's actually going on right now. Like, walk me through it.
That's pretty all right. I'm gonna give my feedback, and then I'll let Javi give his feedback. I don't know why my screen is doing this. So let me know what's going on is very vague. I just think it's a very vague question. What do you think about that?
That's my setup so I could dig in.
I agree. It is vague because when you say what's going on, he might immediately jump into pain, and then you run into that part of the conversation without ever getting a goal.
Right. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a gap in between his desired end state and his current state, and then identify the barriers. What's going on? Yeah, it's just very vague. It's just not yeah.
Yeah, so the last time I had a coach was start of last year. And that was just a 12-week package. So we did that. That was really good. We lost 10 kilos.
Right. So like right now he's going into what he's tried before. Like he had a coach before. He lost his weight. Like we shouldn't even be at that point in the call. Like we're trying to figure out what he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I think I do clarify with that him because that Loki surprised me when he said that. I was like, "What the fuck are we talking about?"
But it's because of the vague question when you first started, though.
Yeah, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
So once that finished, shortly after that, we found out we were pregnant. So, I kind of fell off with everything, with the baby prep and everything. yeah, so yeah, but just fell off completely. He was born February this year, and we're at a place where like we're
Congrats.
comfortable where we can like get our schedules going again.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Congratulations on the baby. Boy or
Thank you
girl?
so much, bro. Boy. So I got one boy, one girl. But they're
Nice.
5 years apart. So, so the age gap is massive.
Yeah, no, my two boys are only about a year and 10 months apart. But yeah, I
How was
got
that?
my two boys are. It's good. It's good. It's nice, man. They play with each other, all that. It's real cool. They're
nice.
literally the textbook definition of boys: monster trucks, dinosaurs, everything you
Awesome.
can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're lots of fun with them. And then obviously, you know, like one of the big things is they see me getting ready to go to the gym, and my oldest will look at me and he'll put up his arms to do like the muscles and everything. He loves that.
So how old is he?
He'll be turning 3 in August.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man,
So
I'm good so far.
right at that age.
What are you writing right here?
Me?
You've been looking down for a long time is one thing that I've noticed.
Yeah. So he,
Yes, he is connecting Sean, but you don't want to lose frame. You don't want to dive too off track. So you need to take the conversation back to fitness because he asked you a question, which means that you are exiting your frame and entering his frame, and he is now controlling the conversation. So you need to bring it back
yeah.
to fitness just a little quicker. I'm assuming it's about to happen, but it needs to happen a little quicker because
Yeah, it does. I literally I do write a lot when I'm on the calls, and it's just because it helps me stay on track a little bit. And also, like, what I'll do is before I even get on the call, I'll map out what I think the pain points will be and what I think the route is that I need to go. And as they're going, I'm kind of like I make a pre-call like worksheet for myself, and I fill it out as I go, so that way I can draw certain things or like refer back to it in the call because I don't be paying attention to these calls, like paying attention to the people on the call. Low key, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I write it down.
I think you're approaching this a little backwards.
No, what I'm saying is I can't focus on them. So the writing keeps me on track, so that way I can make it look like I'm focusing on them.
But the issue is that each call is going to be different. Their pain points are going to be a little different. So you can game it as much as you want. It's almost like yes, you can pre-plan for the pain points because they're pretty much going to be the same, right? But everybody is going to be a little bit different. So I think you should do pre-call research. You should look into their page. You should go through the messages, figure out like what they're giving you. But to like have it scripted before, I wouldn't advise that.
No, I didn't have anything scripted. It's literally like I'll write down on a piece of paper, and it'll be like their name, what they put on the Calendly, and then it'll be like pain point 1, pain point 2, and I'll just literally put like family, kids, like stuff like that, like normal shit. And then I'll write in details on what they're saying. So like with him, I have the notes. I can get the notebook, but it's basically just like with him, he was talking a lot about his kids, talking about my kids too. So I was like, okay, this dude's very family centered. So I know I'm going to be able to use his kids later when it comes time to actually sell, if in case of an objection or something. Because he doesn't talk about his wife at all. So you'll notice, but we could run it.
So, sorry, I'm just taking notes real quick.
Ah, you're good, man.
Okay, so how long have you been where you are right now?
Oh man,
So
I'd
I know
say
you
Yeah, you're working backwards. You're
Yeah.
kind of doing like the opposite of the way that you need to be running it, and it's kind of O'Shea does a similar thing,
I was gonna say that, yeah.
and it's just it's not the traditional route of selling, and I think it's an incorrect way of selling because because the pain comes up early in the conversation rather than at the end, and then at the end is when you need them to be urgent, and because you need them to be urgent, that means that the pain needs to come then, right? So their goal, and then you work your way backwards so that once you get to the urgency tie down, the pain is at the forefront of their mind. Because that how have you been stuck there is meant to create a gap in between the desired end state and current state, right? So without those 2 points on the board, you're not creating a gap in between anything because we don't even know where he's trying to go or where he's at. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like that question should be asked towards the end of the discovery phase.
Yeah. It also gives you like no leverage to challenge him either because you have no idea where he wants to be, what standard he's trying to hold himself to. So when he tells you how long he's been stuck there, you don't have any like leverage to challenge because you don't even know where he wants to go yet or where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think I do get into that here shortly, but I don't know. I honestly don't even remember this call.
Been a while, but I
Yeah.
want to know
So,
realistically.
so this that bod phase, I'd say
Yep.
like 6 years. Like COVID was the last time I was like lean. And
Okay.
yeah, pre-COVID was like my healthiest. And then yeah, that's what my
But we don't even know what lean means, right? Like we don't know how much weight he wants to lose. We don't know. Like we don't know his goal.
I do though, because he gave me all that in the text. That's why I started. I got some from my
bro,
mom.
that's not enough, bro. Like when it comes to high ticket sales, you need them to verbalize what they're trying to accomplish. Because texting something and saying something out loud is way different. Like me texting, bro, I'm poor, and me verbally saying I'm poor, like that hits a lot different. You're internalizing that a lot. Well, I mean, you're externalizing it, but when you externalize it, then you're internalizing it a little bit more in depth or more deeply when you say it out loud, when you verbalize it.
I know what you mean. I do think I like break into his goal though here shortly. I know we go over goals and everything in the call for sure.
and then yeah, I just dropped just dropped the ball ever since. And then yeah, I've had a few stints where I'd lose weight for a solid 3 months, and then something would happen, and then I'd fall off again.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like a cycle, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see here.
Yeah, I also think
Sorry.
Sean wanted to do sales training, and this nigga just left.
tragic.
What were you gonna say, Javi?
I was gonna say, I also think you writing so much creates a lot of dead space. Where if this was a different type of buyer, he would just start asking you questions, take frame. Like it's a lot of just like awkward dead space.
I'm
And so
checking the script. The dead spaces is me checking the script. Every time I'm like,
But you have to find a way to ask something or like keep him talking while you're doing that. Like or while he's answering, you need to be looking at it while he's answering and then looking up and just working your way back. O'Shea does a really good job of this, of like keeping them talking.
this is what I'm
say next. But
this is what I'm always asking about when I'm on the calls. This is what I struggle with the most.
yeah, well, while he's answering, you need to be checking it so that you need to be thinking about your next question before he gets done talking. And if you can't, then you need to continue to get it like keep him there and keep him talking while you're trying to figure out the next question. But that I identified this shit in the first fucking 3 minutes, and now Javi's like, oh shit, this is like a pattern, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you're like looking down like this, and he's just like sitting there waiting on you to say something, and it's like it's awkward silence, and that is not beneficial for the sales for your
Hey,
sales.
I never said I was a salesman. I just said I closed it.
No, I'm not like come. Yeah, you don't
I know.
Yeah, I'm just telling you like these are some things we can optimize. I mean, if you're closing at a
I definitely need it.
50% rate, right? If you can fix this, then you might close at a 70 to 80% rate. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not saying that you're not doing well. It's just saying that you could do better.
Yeah, I definitely need it though, for real.
Okay, so I know you tried the coaching, and then you lost about 10 kilos, but obviously that was last year, so you I'm assuming you probably didn't either go as long or you didn't see the results that you actually were hoping for with the coach, on account of everything kind of going on and things just not being aligned properly, right? Like 10 kilos is great in 12 weeks. That's what I want to say, like what, 22 pounds? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no, that's good progress. I think in 12 weeks, um, realistically, as long as things are on point, we could probably get a little further. To be completely honest with you, I mean, I've had one guy go from never losing weight. He got prescribed Ozempic, and he still didn't lose any weight, and was, I want to say maybe last year.
You say stop.
No, that was the other dude responding to his question.
He went from, on his own, he went from 300 pounds to roughly around 280, and then he got on Ozempic, lost maybe 5 pounds, gained it back while he was still on Ozempic, and then never saw weight loss after that. He stayed around the 280s. He started with me, and then he's now sitting at 260.
Oh, nice.
But he started with me not too long ago, back in February. Another one of my guys, he started with me just.
Okay, so this is something that I feel like Javi kind of struggled with when he first started too. It's just like the eye contact. You're not looking at him, and it's again, I'm saying something because it's been a pattern since you started the call. 90% of the time you're looking down or you're looking away, right? So actually looking at him when you're talking is going to help because I mean he's looking directly into the camera, whereas like you're looking at a cant. And so for example, a lot of people they'll have like their computer or their screen, and then they'll have like an actual camera set up. They'll look at the actual camera rather than their screen because they're trying to be front facing with the person that they're talking to. Does that make sense?
Just under 9 weeks ago, and he's already down almost 20 pounds, right? So everyone's different.
Yeah.
But realistically, I think as long as things.
Because if I'm being honest with you, right now, I don't think your close rate is as high because you're good at sales. I think it's because one, you look insane, and then two, your product knowledge is great, right? And that will carry you. Like you can
I agree.
at sales, but if your product knowledge is there, then you're going to close deals, right? But if you can have the product knowledge, have the physique, and you can be good at sales, bro, you'll be unstoppable,
Yeah.
right? So if we can make these couple tweaks, we can take your shit from 50, 60% to fucking 80, 90%.
Well, that's good that I'm doing this now because I got a call tomorrow. That's why I've been trying to get on call with Javi to go over one of my calls. But now this is going to be one of your Thinkific modules.
Lead magnet. Lead magnet. Fuck.
Are dialed in, we'll probably see more progress than we expected to, right? So going from there, tell me a little bit more about this cycle, right? I need to understand what we're looking at in terms of when you say you would kind of lose some weight, fall back off. I know things were happening, but I need to understand really what do you see? What were the patterns that you see happening whenever you would fall off?
See, like you're still digging into bottlenecks when we don't have set points for desired end state or current state. Like you're doing a good job of consulting him and being a coach, and it's not a bad thing, right? But we need to increase your level of manipulation. Like you need to make them feel more pain, because if you can make them feel that pain and you can consult them,
Yeah.
where
Because right now you're basically selling like, because you're able to get authority on the call because of your product knowledge. Like you know so much that they have no choice but to like listen to you. You know what I mean? Because you have so much product knowledge. But the reality is, and like this is the same way O'Shea taught me, which is a little backwards. It just makes it very hard to create leverage, and everything remains vague because you don't have a goal. So like if let's say I would have asked that question the way you did, because sometimes I'll open up with how can I help, and someone might try to steer me in that way of pain. When he said like before COVID or before 2021, I was at my leanest, like that's when I was at my happiest, you could have used that as like a bridge to get back to goals. At your happiest, like, what do you mean at your happiest? Like, what did that actually look like?
What did that look like? Is a perfect way to verbalize that.
That makes sense.
So then he's telling you, okay, well, I was 180 pounds. I had a six pack. He's telling you like what he's trying to achieve, and he's going into detail, right? And then you can be like, okay, so where are you at now? Like I'm at 230. All right, so now we know that he was at 180, and that's where he's trying to get to, and he's at 230, and that he needs to lose 50 pounds in order to get to where he wants to be, right? Do you see how that creates a pretty large fucking gap for you to bridge just off the first question? Like, off the first question, you know, all right, this dude wants to lose 50 pounds, right? And then you can start digging, probing, figuring out, all right, where is it bothering you at going into the pain points?
I see what you mean. I didn't know I was unmuted. You probably heard my baby. My bad.
Yeah, so I guess my biggest struggle, like looking back at all the times I've been with a coach and just my health journey in general, is the training's fine. I can do the training. The training's easy, getting the steps in. I can do all the physical stuff. It's the food. The food is what I struggle with the most, I would say.
Okay, and why is it
yeah.
that you struggle?
I'd say definitely emotional. Like something would happen.
Okay.
It could be anything, and then I'm like, I still feel better. I'm gonna have this, and then that'll just, just go downhill from there.
Okay, and then so when you say something would happen, right? What would be that key factor to kind of spike that emotional eating, right?
If I'm being honest with myself, I think it'd just be any inconvenience. I would use that as an excuse to just eat something.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even say like it was something huge or traumatic. Like something like a small inconvenience, and then I need to eat this to feel better.
Okay. And then, so tell me, what were things that you've tried to kind of stop that, right? What were things that you put in place before?
I feel like
Before we get into that,
I feel like right there you maybe moved on a little too fast because when he says emotional eating, first I want to know what he means when he says emotional eating. Like how so? You could have asked him to give you an example, like a direct example of like a moment where that happened or one of the moments that happened where he fell back into that cycle. And then another thing that I just had it in my head. But he mentioned emotional eating. Um, that kind of caused him to fall back into that cycle. I'd ask for like an example. And then and then I'd bridge into more so. But it's still tough because you don't have a goal yet. So it even makes the call review tough because we don't know where he's trying to get to. But yeah, if someone says like emotional, I'd be like, what do you emotional how? Like what emotions were you feeling? You know what I mean?
how, whenever you would get into that emotionally like connected eating, what would go through your mind? How are you feeling during that time?
During the eating or before the moments leading up to
During, before, after, right? Because a lot of people will get into kind of like this mindset where they will they don't want to eat off plan, for example, but then they end up doing it, and during that they know that they shouldn't be on it, so they're extra hard on themselves and whatnot. But they know that, or essentially they don't have the urge to stop, right? And that could be a lot of reasons, all of which we'll figure out when we start working together. But just to kind of get a really, really good understanding.
Okay, so I just got your text. So when you say he's trying to get to 250, right? And I'm assuming you're saying that because he said that over text. How tall is he?
He's like 6'3".
Okay. Do you think that when he was his leanest, do you think he was 250?
No, I think he said I know he said 250 because that was his goal, but I know when he was going over, when we first started, he didn't mention being at his leanest. His goal was going from 315 to 250.
You need to figure out why. Is that his goal because that's his goal, or is that his goal
It was a
because he
health
thinks
thing.
that's like an achievable goal, and that's not really where he wants to be. He just thinks that it's accomplishable or achievable, right?
I
Because
I
those are
know
two
for
different
him,
things.
I know for him it was a health thing because one of the things that brought him to my DMs was my fatty liver post.
Yeah, but it's not just health, bro. It's not
No,
just health.
I know. But that's what I'm saying is like when he had told me that, that's what I was going off of.
Yeah, but this is why you have to ask these probing questions, and you need to figure out their goal. And if they give you a goal and it's a smoke screen, it's not their real goal because that might have been his initial concern, but that might not be what's really fueling the fire. Um, because a lot of times people will give you a goal because they don't really believe in themselves to achieve their real goal, right? So if we get somebody on the call and they say, "Yeah, I just want to make 3K a month," and it's like, "All right, do you want to make 3K a month because you think that you can make 3K a month, or do you really want to make 3K a month?" Most people don't want to make 3K a month. They want to make 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, right? So you need to get them to verbalize what the real goal is. Do you really want to get to 250 or do you want to get to 200? Right? And then when they say, well, honestly, I don't get to 200, it's like, all right, so you want to lose 100 pounds, not 50. That's a big gap. That's an even larger gap.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what do they look like at that point? Because if it's 200 like lean and muscular, like that might be even more work. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. The baby's loud, so I'm gonna nod my head instead of say yes.
What are we looking at?
100%. So I'd say I relate to that example a lot. Um, Especially when I start eating something, I feel comfort sort of.
Also, just for future reference, so if somebody's out walking like this, the intent is to get them started on the car, right? So something that Javi brought from Tristan was like you need to check their battery percentage. So if he's out walking and he's on 15%, when you get to the end of the call, he's gonna have an easy out. He's just gonna say his phone's just gonna die.
I've started doing that after this call. When his phone died, after that, I've
Oh, it
never.
actually did die?
It did at
That's
the end of
funny.
it. That's why I said. That's why I said don't watch the last 6 minutes because I'm trying to rush him through the buy now pay later because he shared his
Yeah.
screen with me and I literally saw in the top right it was 1% and I picked up the pace.
That's how you know there's a science to this shit.
Yeah, but
Wow.
after this call, every single time I've been on the phone with somebody, unless they're walking into their house, I make sure I'm like, do you have battery? Because my sale before this one was a dude and he was at his office at work and I didn't know if he had a charger, so I made sure or not my sale before this one, my sale after this one. I made sure that he had battery.
Yeah, so it's weird. Like any little inconvenience, I'll be like, oh, I need to eat something, and then I'll eat it, and then I'll feel good, and then I'll feel bad again because I know I shouldn't have eaten it, and then it turns to regret because I'm like, oh, I could have went on without it, and then that kind of repeats.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's a normal thing, right? It's actually probably one of the more common things that we see. For reference, how much were you eating during these weight loss phases, if you knew?
Actually,
He also says it turned into regret and he's fallen into the cycle multiple times throughout the 6 years. So how long has he been living with that regret?
Yeah, I'm watching it back now. I'm realizing there's definitely a lot of like the emotional stuff that I kind of miss by, and I think it's just because when I
Yeah.
get on these calls, my first instinct is just naturally like coaching people. So
These dudes trust
like
you a
that's
lot because you're not selling at all. This
yeah,
is
that's
like a
one.
legitimate consultation. Like you're not selling.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like an
one of my
onboarding
biggest
call
things.
almost.
When I first started doing the sales before I started recording the calls, I almost never went through the script. Like I would literally just do a full consultation, and at the end, I'd be like, okay, well, you have these problems. This is how much I charge.
Yeah, your
So
product knowledge is carrying you. But the problem is if you want to scale to 6 figures a month, multiple 6 figures a month, you're going to be selling to cold buyers, cold audience. Um, I mean, you'll still be selling to warm people too, but you'll also be selling to cold people, right? Which means that they're not going to have as much trust, and if they don't have as much trust, then you have to build the urgency, right? Because if they don't have as much trust, you're not as much of an authority, right? So that means that you have to pull the pain out of them and build that urgency on this call so that they're more likely to buy. Because I guarantee you, you're not going to be able to sell to cold traffic the way you're selling to these people that are raising their hand from your organic content.
AKA, you have to be better at selling once you start doing the cold traffic.
okay, so maybe wait on the ads until I'm good at selling a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing: like Javi has closed, I think, like 250,000 in the past like 90 days, at a 50% closing rate, and they're almost all of them like cold traffic, like taking them straight from top of funnel to bottom of funnel. So like that's extremely impressive. Um, but yeah, I mean, he just practices a lot.
I've also invested 17K in 3 months. I brought that up to Tristan today. I was like, dude, what the fuck? I was like, I invested 17K in 3 months.
If it works, it works.
I'm on crack.
It's part of the process, bro.
Got to though.
So we're on 2,670 just
2,670 calories.
it was
And then do you know your macros?
Yeah, so 270 protein, 285 carbs, and 50 fats.
Okay. Let me see something. How often were you training a week?
So I was doing 5 times a week. It was push pull legs, upper lower.
Okay. And then now, where are you at? Are you tracking food?
No.
Where are you at with training?
Even training is intermittent. So I do training I wouldn't even count it. I have a home gym, so I do like little sessions here and there, but I wouldn't count it as anything in terms of training.
Just kind of like whenever you feel like you gotta get in there.
Yeah. So I'm legit ground zero right now. Or level
No
zero.
worries. No worries. That makes it a little bit easier, right? Because then we can actually attack bad habits early.
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry, I'm typing in like all the information here that I'm going to need to look. Okay.
Sorry, there's a little background noise on my side.
No, actually, I can't hear anything.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing good. Let me see here. Sorry, I've got my computer with you on FaceTime or on me, and I've got my computer that does my calculations, and I got my notebook with notes for you. Okay, getting back into it, right? So we knew that you didn't feel good when you would enter kind of like these off-plan meal cycles, stuff like that, right? Obviously, what we want to avoid is you repeating that, and there's a lot of mechanisms that cause that. But realistically, like I said, we'll be able to get into it all once we actually start working together more in depth. When I have a little bit more time to actually fine-tune things. But going into that, right? I know the number one struggle that you had was food noise. But do you have any others? Number 2, number 3, stuff like that? Or I wouldn't say food noise, but just like food in general. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I think the food was the biggest one for me. Like the training was fun for me. Getting steps into the cardio was fun.
A goal for us, based off of what I have here. Let me see. Okay.
Did you just take his goal from the messages? Like you didn't ask him at all during the call?
I've got some numbers here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out right now in terms of where I put you for eating. Okay. Let's get into it. Now we got some of that. Okay. So I know what you tried already. I know what's happened. I know how long you've kind of been dealing with this. Right, 6 years is a long time, realistically. A lot of what I'm seeing lately is a lot of dudes are getting hit during COVID. COVID took a lot of guys out. Realistically, COVID is why I joined the military and why I became because I was tired. I was tired of being inside the house, and I needed something to change. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and join the military.
You said COVID. You said COVID.
Don't worry about it, man.
You said COVID. What did he say? COVID took a lot of guys out.
Yeah, a lot of the calls that I had been like getting on, all of them were saying the same thing. It's like, oh, during COVID is when I gained the weight. And I think it wasn't in this call, but in another one, I think I just kind of got fed up with the thing. And I looked at the dude and I was like, yo, COVID was like 10 years ago, bro. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Which
Like,
I
you don't want to let them justify where they're at, right? So if you're like, yeah, COVID took a lot of guys out, sure. Like COVID also is probably where a lot of guys also got in the best shape of their lives, you know? So you don't want to let
yeah.
him justify or give him like an excuse for
And
himself.
that's good, Loki. That's good as fuck.
We're going to get you back on track. The ideal goal is with enough time, right, with enough work put in place, we get you not only to exceed what you've done already with previous coaches, but we get you as close as we can to what your ideal physique is, right, within the time allotted. So, okay, this one is kind of like 2 in 1. I'll ask you the first one. Why is it important that you change this now?
I think the biggest thing, and I was after my son's score. Yeah, I'd say my family. I think,
That's good.
we settled on my son being the last one. So now that I know what my why is, what my why looks like.
See, yeah, at this point of the call, he should not be smiling. He should not be fucking happy. He should be about to fucking burst out in tears. Seriously.
Actually, all my calls with guys from Australia, they're not sad people. So that's one thing I will say. I've not been able to make none of them get serious. They all smile.
Well, yeah, because you're selling wrong.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I'm just being honest. Like that
I know.
is the difference. Like when Javi started, they didn't give a fuck either, and now he's like making motherfuckers cry on calls, right? Because he's pulling the pain out. You're not really pulling any pain out. You're kind of just you're consulting him rather than selling him. Which ideally you're doing both.
I'm ready to fly. And there's no pregnancy anymore. So
No, that's commendable. I literally, I can't remember if I mentioned the DMs, but I always grew up somewhat physically fit, but I was always the bigger. When I was never lean, I never looked good or nothing. I started bodybuilding prior to joining the Marine Corps. Got an impressive physique. I was probably around like 17, 18 years old, at 250 pounds, relatively lean. I had visible abs.
I wouldn't volunteer that information. I know you said it's hard for you to like empathize, but people do tend to trust people more that have been where they are at, whether it be just out of shape in general or not at their ideal. Like I've never just been extremely fat, but I have been like unhappy with my physique. So when you're like, I've always been fucking
let it
jacked.
run.
Huh?
Let it run. Because I go over my injury,
And
and I got it
in a year, I
to
got injured
When you were fat, 300 pounds.
yeah.
really badly.
Okay.
That injury kind of made me depressed. I gained a ton of weight. I got up to 300 pounds. And I was getting bullied at work, all that good stuff. When I had my baby boy, my wife took a picture of me holding him, and I saw the body holding this baby, and I was like,
yeah, 100%.
I knew something had to change, and I'm working on a story post, or not a story post, but a post of my story to throw up on my account so people understand me a little bit more.
Yeah, that'd be so good.
But yeah, I went from 295 pounds to 275 in 30 days. Very easy, obviously, but I was doing everything with the right intention, but I didn't have the right knowledge. In December of that year, I was in September of that year, I was 265. And after that, I mean, since then, I've ran a marathon, I've run 5Ks. I'm actually in the middle of prep for a show right now to compete, and all of it is my family. Yeah, all I want is for my sons to know their dad is the superhero that they see at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I resent that so much. When my son was born, we took a photo doing skin to skin, and that when I saw it was so embarrassing. So I was like, no. As soon as we get his,
it's real, man. I'm telling you that picture, that big. I still have that picture. Obviously, I hate seeing it, but it's one of those things where every once in a while, when I find myself falling off the leg, and I end up looking at it and reminding. Okay, so what made you reach out?
So I saw your reels on Instagram. The thing that connected with me the most was the fact that you were speaking about topics that most persons in Australia don't talk about. Like this.
I'm gonna let you say it, Javi. I'm not gonna say it.
Bro, guys, I get it. Don't dig at me.
No, this is very bold.
You digging at me? You digging at me?
I would say this is very late in the this is almost a question you could open the call with. You know what I mean? Like this is extremely late in the call. That's my feedback. That's
Just
extremely late.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, nigga, this has been the first. Like on a lot of Javi and O'Shea's calls, like it's like the first question they ask. Like, what made you reach out to Dylan specifically? Like, who's Dylan?
Yeah, I thought you were Dylan. No, bruh. Makes me want to slam my computer shut. Fuck.
The coaches I've dealt with so far, they just focus on macros and that's it. There's no deeper like knowledge or teaching or anything beyond that. They just, this is your member, this is your training schedule, make sure you hit it. There's no like further teaching or why are we doing this. So yeah, when I saw your post, I was like, yeah, this guy knows more, man.
Dog, 2xp
Dude,
is
I have to,
diabolical. I can't understand nothing. But I want to know.
I told my wife when I started coaching, I said I don't want to miss ever. I'm very competitive, and I don't like the idea that there's anybody doing it better than me. Obviously, there's people out there that are doing things better than me, right? But my goal is to be the standard. Realistically, I want everyone that I come into contact with to be like, oh, okay. If they're a coach, I want them to see me as the teacher. If they're a client, I want them to see me as the expert. And I'm very, very dedicated. I love my guys. I check in with my guys every single day, as long as my schedule allots it. If I have the time on the schedule to check in with you, I'm going to check in with you. Some of my guys, they kind of fall off the wagon every once in a while, and we're going to get into the pictures. We're going to get into the questions that are a little bit more in depth, right? So those are kind of good for me to understand where we are.
This is when I start actually selling.
Now I really need to understand.
Like when I'm going down the actual script.
Right? I want to know your thought process from the moment you wake up to
30 minutes into the call.
Bro, my bad, bro. My bad.
Holy
My,
shit.
my bad, bro. My bad.
That's funny.
Fuck.
My bad, bro. We all start somewhere.
Yeah.
We all start somewhere. And I got $1,000 out of it, even if I had to give it back. I got,
You refunded it?
yeah,
I thought you told me you were keeping it.
I was. But then bro started texting me every like hour. And I was like,
Saying
all right,
what?
bro, I'm not gonna
What he
do
say?
this shit
What
no
he
more.
say?
Can you please refund the money? Like every hour on the hour. I was like, all right, bro. I was like, if I block this dude, then he's gonna charge back and that's gonna look terrible. So I just sent him the money.
Sleep. I want to know more or less what you think when
We're gonna have to start transaction padding your shit, bro. Your
Huh?
refund
What
rate
does
can't
that
be
mean?
high. Your refund rate can't be high either.
I don't have a high refund rate.
How many clients do you have?
Like 20.
And you've refunded one.
One.
So what does that put your rate at?
I don't know.
It's at 5%.
5%. That's high.
That's nothing.
Yes, it
That's
is.
low
It's
battery
high.
if it's on my phone.
Huh?
That's low battery on my phone.
Technically, it's below 5%.
Yeah, it's like for anything above two is high. High risk.
Your math is wrong. That's it.
Is it?
It's 21.
Yes.
Maybe out of 21 if you refunded one person. He has 20 clients.
That's still not
But
subject.
that's not the only purchase I have.
How many do you have? How many transactions?
I'll pull it up right now. But I know I look you do have hella transactions, I think. Where do I find the total amount of transactions on here?
The point I'm trying to get at is that even if you have 50 to 100, all you need is one or two people to charge back. They get pissed off and then you're cooked.
Is it a frequency thing too? Or what?
It's both. You get like five people to charge back, and it's even if your rate's below 2%, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck is happening?"
when you look at yourself in the mirror, right? I need to understand all these things because these things are 50-50, right? I get some guys that are motivated just like you are, and these things fuel them. And then I get guys that are motivated just like you are, and these things break them off, right? So I need to understand what we're looking at in terms of what does Anthony see in the mirror every day? What does he think of himself in the mirror every day? Things like that. Yep.
Yeah, this is why everybody in the coaching space wants to be on an organic offer. This is crazy work. Everybody's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you're organic."
I just
He's throwing shade, crazy shade.
That's not shade. Organic's easier though.
That's shade.
I
A little bit of
guess.
shade, but it's all right. I'm gonna let it
A
slide.
little bit.
He's
A
like,
little
Whatever.
he's like, this shit is selling.
bit.
Guys, I'm gonna let it slide.
whenever
I'm gonna let it slide just because I'm not in my element. I'm in Javi's element.
That's crazy. This is not my element. I don't have an element.
whenever
Huh?
I said I don't have an element.
you let's say wake up, right? First thing in the morning, just woke up. What is the first thing you see? What is the first thing you think of? Yeah.
Um, so currently, I'm doing a morning detox mixture. It's honestly just creatine, some greens powder, and a fiber
Yeah,
powder.
this shit was
And
a
I put 10 grams
Cut
left
of
them off.
part of it.
Eating
They're gonna
enough.
want to cut
Two,
them
you're not
off.
eating
If
the
you're
right.
asking a question like that and you could tell they're not about to answer the question or they misunderstood your question, just cut them off and
okay.
just
I didn't
re-ask
know if
it.
that was like okay.
Yeah,
It takes
re-ask
some balls, and that's something that I think you were on the call when I addressed it, because Javi did it with that one guy, and when he first started, he would not do that. Like he would just let him ramble, and I was giving him props because you had to be. Hey, that's not what I'm asking. But it does. It takes some nuts to be like to tell a grown man like, all right, wait a second, like stop talking. But at the end of the day, like it's your sales call, it's your frame, like you control the conversation. So if they're answering a question that you did not ask, be like no, and then you can reword the question. Same question, just different verbiage.
I think I do ask him again. I'm like, cool. Well, that I think I tell him like the detox drink doesn't do anything. I have a better one. And then I ask him, I'm like, I don't think you understood what I was trying to say or some shit like that.
And three, you're probably not using the food that you are consuming now to benefit you. So to break that cycle, right, we need to identify the situations that we have, right? First off, we're emotionally connected to food, right? At any inconvenience, right, your first instinct is you eat even though you don't want to. The food will satisfy you temporarily, but then you realize that you actually feel bad for eating the food and then you end up eating more, right? Sound about right so far?
Yeah, nailing it.
So from there, getting into it, we know that the main reason that you want to do this, right, is for your kids, for your wife, right? You want to be the standard, you want to be the superhero that they see every day at home. You want them to actually feel safe. You want them to look at you and not necessarily feel like there's a health risk to you, right? For one, you don't want your kids to grow up and follow in the same footsteps that you are now. So you're hoping that this change kind of stimulates them to realize that health is priority, right? Yep. Second, you also probably you probably feel relatively, like realistically, like let's be honest, you do feel secure around your wife as your wife. That's why you married her, but also you don't feel confident around her, right? You know that you're not where you want to be, and she sees that too. Like, let's be real. My wife was the same way. She saw that I hated the way I looked, and she wanted to change things, but she couldn't. So the best that she did was be supportive, but realistically, support only goes so far whenever the home environment's not conducive, right? Whenever there's temptation in the house, all of that. Which is why I asked if she was aware, you know, that we're on this call, that you're making these things, right? It is going to set you up for the future. It is going to set your family up for success, knowing that they have somebody who's not a liability anymore inside of their home.
Also, you knowing that he had a wife, did you ask if like he needed her to be on the call?
It's on the Calendly link. When he booked, he said no. Yeah.
Sound about right so far?
Yeah, I've never heard it spoken back to me like that. Oh,
yeah.
Never.
Right. And the reason I do that also is because to make you realize like this is something serious. A lot of people, like I mentioned to you, I lied to myself and I thought that it wasn't that serious. But realistically, when we're looking at where we were, right, or where we are now, we need to realize that not only are we putting our health at risk, but we're also putting our family, right, our livelihood. The longer you stay like this, what's going to come out of it? It's going to bring you more health issues. Your children are going to look up to you, and whether you like it or not, either you're going to be the example of what they do in the future, or you're going to be the example of what they don't want to be. And as a father, we never want to be that second part.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do need that kind of repeated in front of them to let them know, like, hey, if you haven't woken up just yet, this is the time to wake up.
Okay. I like your painting the picture of who he wants to be. And I like that you're making the connection between like you and your experience being a father, being where he wants to be and where he wants to be as well. It's like the opposite of like empathizing. I guess, yeah, it's like the opposite of empathizing. Like you're bringing your personal experience and you're painting yourself as an authority because you can relate to him, but more so like you can relate to the person that he wants to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Right. Because essentially what I'm telling you, Anthony, is that I think 100% we can get you to your goals. Right now, the plan that I have is to get you down to 300 pounds as soon as possible, right? Because we're looking at small goals, right? So going from 341 to 300 and then exceeding from there. That way we can actually see realistic goals. From there, what we'll do, right? We're going to understand the approach. So I know that you do your morning detox tea. I don't know why. I think is it just to kind of help with bloating? You got make you feel a little bit smaller?
Yeah, I guess so. And it's also just holding on to something that I did in my skinny phase that I thought was working.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's exactly what I was about to bring up right now. What it looked like to me is that we're just kind of tying ourselves to the idea that this might be helping us when realistically, I don't really see the purpose of it. You will still be taking some type of beverage in the morning. I prescribe each one of my clients what's called a gut motility drink. If you've seen any of my day in the lives, you've probably seen me drinking it every week. It's not necessarily a morning skinny cheat code. What it is though, is it is going to protect your gut and put you in a position to where your digestion is on point, right? It's essentially just a supplementary drink that you're going to take every morning. That's going to allow you to digest the food a little bit more efficiently throughout the day. And it's going to protect the gut lining and everything. I can literally ask you can ask me any questions that you want after we get started about the program and everything. But just to kind of give you a little bit of context, your routine isn't going to change too much. It's what we do in the routine that's going to change. That's going to make these little changes. So now we get into what I call the dig, right? This is going to be the realest part of it, right? Because now we're actually identifying your biggest insecurities, right? For that, I have here, it's going to be your midsection, right? You mentioned that you don't like to look at yourself in the mirror. You'll look at your face because you want to avoid seeing your midsection, right? Because physically you feel bad, you feel useless. You might even feel disgusted about it. It reminds you that you've had goals in the past that you set yourself and that you've tried to get to in the future, but you just have not been able to accomplish them. And that could be for a multitude of reasons, right? It could be because there were some health conditions. It could be because of that food drive. But it also could be just a big thing, a lack of accountability, a lack of support to do. From there, we're going to go into Your sorry, hold on, let me write down my framework.
What did you just say?
My framework, not the sales framework. Like the way I take my clients through, I have a 5-step framework called March T.
Okay, it's like, what the fuck?
Hold on, let me
Oh,
look at
you're
this.
good.
Oh, I lost the script real quick.
I
Hold on.
want to look at my script real quick.
Imagine.
I was like, what the hell?
I mean, I tell them that every time I get on a call, I do have certain questions that I ask everybody to make my job easier. But they don't. It's not like my bad. I don't walk them through I don't tell them like, oh, I got this sales script. I tell them I have a consultation questionnaire that I have to fill out.
Why do you say that?
I wouldn't say that.
Because my consults are long, and sometimes I'll be losing track. So I have to like literally, I'll like stop thinking. I'll be like, damn, what do I got to say? And then I'll look and be like, sorry, I forgot what question I have next.
Yeah,
Just
but
like that.
again, that makes it. I wouldn't do that.
All right, I'll stop.
Well,
If
I
anything,
mean,
I
I'll
think
do
it
it.
does the opposite of what you think it does.
Oh well. I don't know. I have no clue what it does. I've
well,
been
you're
shooting in the
trying to
dark.
justify like you stopping and looking down and trying to figure it out when in reality you just need to get better at sales and learn how to ask a question that's going to keep them talking while you're doing that, right? Because then
Yes.
because then it makes it seem more boilerplate rather than you actually trying to find the solution to their problem specifically. And you're like, yeah, I'm just filling out a questionnaire. You
I
get what I'm
agree.
saying?
It's just I didn't know I don't know I haven't developed the skills that I need to yet. So by doing that, it's allowed me to at least stay on track, if that makes sense, in my mind. Because I lose my train of thought real easy.
Well,
This
you
call could have
saying
easily been
that
4 hours
isn't
long.
allowing you to stay on track. You saying that is making you feel comfortable when you can sit down and pause and there's like 30 seconds of dead space. It's giving you comfortability because you're like, all right, I already told them that I'm filling something out, right?
Yeah.
It's not improving your sales process. It's just making you more comfortable with
Yeah.
the problems that you're facing during it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Sure, sure. Okay, we're going to go into what I call the resiliency stage. At that point, now we're just going to see how your body's actually recovering and responding to the training and the recovery protocol. Once we see that, that's going to allow us to know, hey, do we stay right here or do we continue
Is this
making
the
changes?
pitch?
Right, and all of this realistically is
No,
going to
no,
happen
no. This is how
just because those
this
first months
is
are the most
basically
intense.
how I'm going to, or I guess technically, but it's not.
Yes, it's the
It's I'm going through my framework.
Okay, but like your framework is the pitch,
Part of it,
like
yeah.
part of the pitch. Okay, okay, okay.
I
You look worried.
hope this is the pitch.
Dylan looks worried.
For us to see your results, right? If we can dial everything in by the first month, it makes everything easier. First 2 months allows us to kind of get a little bit of wiggle room for what might happen because life is life and things happen. So from there, we're going to look at cycle and signal. Don't worry about cycle. That's for ladies. Signal is how your hormones are signaling your body, how your brain is responding to those signals. And that's where blood work comes in again. And the last thing we're going to look at is health and hormones, specifically what's deficient, what's good, red flags and health markers, all that stuff, right? And it's my 5-step framework. I call it March T. And essentially it's going to go over energy, which is mitochondria production, absorption, which is your gut health, resilience, which is your recovery and your resistance training. C is going to be your cycle and signal. H is going to be hormones and health. And that last one is T, because at the very top of everything is the training, right? The training has to supplement everything else. The program itself does not start with the training. We build that out first because that's the easiest thing to change. Everything else, it's like a pyramid, right? Your training is at the very, very top because it's the least important. The foundation and everything that comes under it is essentially what we're doing, right? So off of that, is that kind of clear how everything's going to work? When we start working together?
That sounds amazing, man. Honestly, like, yeah,
Awesome.
from past coaches, I've never had this in-depth detail. So,
Thank you, right? And the reason I do
And that's what I was afraid of because I'm afraid. I mean, if it's working, it's working, but I'm afraid that like your process is so complex that I don't want to tell you to simplify it because again, it makes you look like an authority. But at the very minimum, you need to be getting confirmation after each pillar that they understand what you're talking about. And then if they don't, you need to give them clarity because that was like brain dump. And I'm on 1.5x speed. But you just, after each pillar, like you need to be getting verbal confirmation that they understand like what it sounds like to them, and then move to the next pillar.
Yeah, I was thinking the
Yeah,
same
I
thing.
guess.
You said
Yeah,
what?
listening to it now also, I'm definitely like that was a ramble. But I guess when I watched the call over by myself afterwards to kind of like take notes on myself, it was like it made sense to me. But now
Yeah, it makes sense to
listening
you,
to
but
it,
this is a
yeah,
morbidly obese dude that drinks detox tea and wakes up.
Yeah.
So
You're
yeah,
he
targeting fat retards.
he just heard a bunch of nothing.
yeah.
It was
No,
like,
I'm
oh
definitely
shit, I don't
done
know this.
targeting fat retards though. I'm not gonna lie, that shit
Right, like
doesn't work.
there's a way to display your product knowledge whilst also like if you understand something very in depth, that's what tells you if you understand something very in depth. If you can help somebody that doesn't understand it,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with displaying your product knowledge and explaining it this. Well, I'm not gonna say explaining it this way, but explaining it. But you need to explain it in a way that somebody that has no experience, no gym time, no nutritional education would understand it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like,
You're,
oh, so that like you almost want it to be a light bulb moment once you go through each pillar.
Okay.
your ability to explain what you know, which is super complex in like a very simple fashion, is what shows like true product knowledge. That's why people gravitate a lot towards like Hormozy, because he explains like the toughest, like the most complex business stuff in the most simplest manner, which shows his knowledge.
Yeah.
Because it does it when you bring it down to a science, bro, it does make a very, very fast difference, right? Like I mentioned earlier, everybody's body is different. You might be somebody who is very, very recomposition friendly, which means like your weight might not move at all, but your body fat does, right? Or you could be somebody who loses body fat very, very quickly and you shrink, in the good way.
Yeah.
It's super important to kind of dial things in. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my other screen so you can see how I'm going to program everything for you. All right?
Yep, no worries.
This is me walking him through the actual way I program. So like I'm walking him through Everfit basically.
So I'm going to
Like
join on
showing
my
him
talk
this is
here.
also I'll show him like a transformation too.
Yeah, I don't think you should be doing a live demo. I mean, you can, like, again, if it's working, like, I'm gonna tell you not to.
Well, this is the first time I tried it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have people ask us to, but it's like, I
Yeah.
mean, we can show you the modules. We're not gonna go through the videos, but um, yeah, I mean, you should be able to verbalize and explain your process so in depth that they don't like need to see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because while you're showing them, if you're showing them and speaking, they're either not going to be listening to you or they're not going to be looking at what you're showing them. Like they're only
Yeah,
going to
and
be,
I think later I do ask him like if he can see something. He's like, no, the screen is too small. And I was like, fuck.
yeah. And
But
you
I
see how he
look
doesn't
at
even call it out because he's just listening to you at that point. Like
yeah,
he's not even calling out the screen's too small because he's just listening. And then you also have especially like probably once you transfer the code, if you do something like this, then you're going to open it up to like, hey, could you send me that? Or hey, like, you know what I mean? And now you open it to like
yeah,
a necessary objection at the end of the call. Especially with
yeah,
everything you've already stated, they're not going to be able to retain it all. They're just going to be like, hey, can you send me this? And then now you can
yeah.
go off.
Pull it up. Those are the only two tools that he has to cook. He makes.
Agreed.
Um, is it my service or oh this is when my Wi-Fi cut out. Hold on. I'll get back on the call in a second. My Wi-Fi literally cuts out on the call.
No, that's okay. Overall, yeah, I don't think it's. Hold on. Let me let me stop this real quick. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think it was a. I think that your pro is that your product knowledge is very in depth, but I think you need to start incorporating the actual principles and frameworks that are pertinent to this.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Like you need to change. I would personally, I would change my call flow.
I
And
think that's
honestly, I
my I
think
think that's
that
my issue though, is that like I don't know, like I don't it doesn't well not that it doesn't come naturally because I don't think I mean to some people it comes naturally, So it definitely doesn't come naturally to me. I think really what I'm noticing though, from my aspect is like I'm not. I think my coaching takes over really really hard, like way before everything else. So it kind of like it's like I'm fighting, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know like what my call flow is if I have one, I guess, if that makes sense. So I guess the what I'm trying to say is how do I even find that to begin with if I don't know where I'm really starting with? Because I
Well,
know the
you have
script
the
and like I've
show, you
gone through the
have the
script alone on
template.
the call.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's every time. So every time I've tried to go through the script by itself, I end up not getting a close, which is few out of all the people that get on the call. But I've noticed that's like the one thing I have kind of seen over,
Well,
if that makes
probably because
sense.
you're trying to sell, right? Like right now, what you just did, like you were essentially consulting them, right? And then when you're reading that script,
Yeah.
you're trying to sell. What you should be doing is you should be consulting and selling. You should be doing both, right? You should be taking him through that framework, but also consulting him while you're taking him through the framework. Because the way you're approaching it is I can either do A or B. What I'm telling you is to do C. You need to do both. You need to use that framework whilst also consulting him and displaying your product knowledge.
Oh well.
So I'm not saying you to follow that script verbatim and just go through those questions. You should also incorporate your own questions, but those questions do need to be asked, and I would ask them in a similar order.
Oh well.
Yeah. Because just because you're going off the script doesn't mean you need to do away with like your consultative frame and like your product. Not like that's your biggest strength. Like just that alone right now is carrying your calls. So once you do like actually get the sales aspect down, bro, you're gonna close insane. Because that alone right now is carrying your calls. But
Oh
once
well.
you're actually like selling and you're consulting, especially with your knowledge, bro, like you're gonna close like crazy.
How have you,
But
how
you
have you
know,
taken the slickest